5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Look at this saggy skin. It's hard to even get a pinch of the original flush. Did I shave that part? If my mum had known, I think my dad had an idea. He was pissed off that mum was pregnant again. 3rd time. Not all women like to be on the pill. You know, you could just use the rhythm methods. What's it called? Natural family planning. Takes some time. Basal temperature for 3 months at least. Withholds during the time when you will conceive. Go ahead when you won't, but it takes agreement. Right. That was a... It just turns out that no. If you don't test the sputum, you may either be prescribing antibiotics unnecessarily or be prescribing the wrong antibiotic. Because I thought, oh, well, it'll just be amoxicillin. The doctor knew from the sputum sample when I grew my culture that it was not amoxicillin that was needed. It was a different drug. And I did explain that I had been prescribed amoxicillin so many times without a sputum sample. I also mentioned that I'd had my tonsils taken out at 11 and the surgeon drained my sinuses and told my mum it was the worst he'd ever seen. All right, well, that was gay. I mean, happy, yeah? Gay used to mean happy. It used to mean you're so gay. Your man and you are mighty merry, sir. So what you need is a sputum sample before you prescribe antibiotics. But as my headline is schizoaffective disorder, you'll just ask, how am I feeling? And I'll be like, what's the answer to that question? How are you feeling? I'm feeling like I need better healthcare. Have a lovely afternoon. Now, I've had some criticisms that I'm not holding the unity, but I'm like, we have peace. My peace I give to you, my peace I leave with you. You know, you can wait all day for it to arrive. Maybe the UN will sort it out. And earlier I found out it'll come. Give it at least 80 years. You know, anything can be a cult, you know, apparently. Well, I got my mucus cultured, so I don't know. I didn't have like a fucking agenda to come here. You know, put in some unisex toilets. What the problem? You just argue endlessly. Can't use the female, can't use the male. Danger. Put in a disabled toilet. No agenda. So yeah, no, I'll take the criticism. It's true. But I think probably the treatment was what caused the corruption. You know, maybe it was having sex as a child as well. Did that do it? Did that cause you to think you were married and all things to all people? I said all things to all people, yeah. Well, no, I try and stay single these days. Just 101. Now, I must add that J200 has been on a date with Bonnie Blue online and she's going to have sex or has had sex with 1,000 men in 24 hours. 24 times 60, 1,440 divided by 1,000 is 1.44 minutes. I believe that may be, but I'm not quite a mathematician. 1 minute and 44 seconds to get your end away and have a jolly time. And she is so gay. After all that, happy, you know. Used to mean happy, like gentleman. Used to mean an owner of land. What does that make me? I don't own the land, I own the leasehold. So I'm not a gentleman either. I don't know. There's no agenda. But unisex toilets are quite disturbing. I would stick with the handicap. Just be like, handicap toilet? So yeah, not amoxicillin after all. I was expecting amoxicillin because the internet said usually amoxicillin, and she was like, no, it's not that you need. And that's why I have mucus production. I was like, I've been in a while. Just waking up with mucus in my throat and that. She's lovely. I love her. I love her. I love doctors. I said to her, did you study history of medicine when you did medicine? She said, no. I was like, oh my God. She said, some of my friends did though. And I was like, oh God, I bet they are gay. Happy, yeah. Now this is an original, isn't it? I don't know. Fuck knows. Fuckety fuck knows. Isn't it? All that carnal knowledge. Ah, I know that. Problem is, I go live, and as I said, I don't have an agenda. So what to do? What to do? At least I've got the right medication, because pneumonia can kill. Right? That wasn't why I held on to the problem. A little bit difficult to get help on NHS because the NHS has schizophrenia. Innit? Because you'll live in mental illness, yeah? It's been recorded since the beginning of time. Sure, the family had a bit to do with it. Yeah. They're talking rubbish. Leave them alone. And they're talking. They can't see the people that they're talking to. Yeah, I can't see the people I'm talking to. Bloody hell, it must be true. Because, up and down. I was like, yes. My hypermobile spectrum disorder. Benign, yeah? That means not a problem. So why was I in physiotherapy from the age of 12 and 13, and then in front of a GP at 14 with my mum, and told I had growing pains and ME, and would I like an SSRI, whatever it is these days? And I said no. And then cracked on with the drugs, all right? But I didn't know you weren't supposed to smoke it. Like when it got legalised in Canada again. Because it used to be illegal not to grow hemp if you had land. But cash crop, yeah, so, because so many uses. Just saying, it may have been genetically modified, but when it got re-released, only for fire. And like I was saying, I just found out, I know these are hard to follow, I just found out that that woman who's standing for the Green Party in Castlewood is the mayor. And you have to be a Freemason to be a mayor. And if you want to be a Freemason in the female club, they have another name. Okay, so you can't, chains. Bye-bye. I know, what made it go that way from such an excellent start? And I must add, on my dad's side, all Freemasons. On my mum's side, all adoption. Rich, poor. Hello, my darling. We did history of medicine as pre-GCSE. Yeah, it's to cut people's brains. It's cut the skull, let the spirits out. If you leave someone on their own for a long time, they'll probably have to communicate it, with an imagination or have this conversation. What would they be like? I don't know. Just stop putting people out there, fuck off out there, out the way where no one can see you. See you pulling your hair out, can't have that in the street. People will suspect there's something wrong. And like I said, there's nothing wrong because it's all part of the plan. So smile. When you're walking down the street and you see a baby coming towards you, smile. Okay? Otherwise people think there's something wrong. And there's nothing wrong because it's all part of a plan. That's what I believe. That's why you think the Lord's arm is not long enough. You can believe that if you want. I did for a while. I can work out the rest of the answer. And I looked in Bahawlah's writings and he was like, yeah, some people think that, yes. I was thinking that as well. James, is he, it's very strong. Not like us. I won't repeat that. Just regarde. All right. If you want to censor me, YouTube, censor me. It's fine. This is Epstein Justice 2.0. I found out the other day, Virginia before is 41. I'm nearly 45. Just saying. Okay, just saying. And I don't agree with the fact that people say there was no witness. In my case, there was loads. But even if there wasn't anyone else there, I was still a witness. That's, but when people get smacked around the head, allegedly, and it gets downgraded from, how do we call it, GBH, whatever, to assault and battery, I can't be fucked to go to courts. And when I did go to court the first time with Frank Henry, because once you report CPS, not the Child Protection Services, but the criminal thing, they just take over. You can't cancel. But luckily, my mum came to support me with Malcolm. And Frank will tell you, as he has other people, thank you, Frank, that in the break, the sojourn in the day in the magistrates, because it was assault and battery, I was standing with my mum. Malcolm was there and touched my ass. You know what I mean when I say touched my ass, like a little bit more than that, right? So I moved over the garden to the other side to stand with Frank and his friend. Yeah? It's a wonder why people don't move out of domestic violence. If you've got someone coming to your home every 2 weeks to inject you in the arse, then you must roll down your trousers first to have it done. Maybe it was the treatment. You'd think you'd have explanations in psychiatry. Serotonin, dopamine, brain, mind. Thanks, I said hi to. Even down here, say, what an actress.